Most people think a Persona final evolution is just that, a final form, a stronger version of the original. But here's the thing, while that might be true in other series, the game we love actually hides something much more meaningful. So in this video, we're going to break down what Persona final evolutions really means and why they matters more than most people realize. Our story today begins in Persona 4 Golden's, because while hidden meaning behind Persona evolutions has existed since Persona 1, the universal message that tied them all together begins taking a clearer shape here, quietly developing across each party member journey. Let's start with the protagonist. His first persona is Izanagi, but as you continue through the game, it's evolved into Izanagi-no-Okami. That no-Okami part is our first clue to understand today's mystery. It's translated roughly to great deities. In the original mythology, Izanagi begins as just Izanagi, but after creating the island of Japan and shaping the world, he grows stronger both in power and purpose, and is eventually honored as a god, specifically the god of creation. The title Great Deity Izanagi isn't just a name, it's the result of everything he's accomplished, a symbol of the growth he earned through trial, creation, and transformation. That same principle applied to Yosuke. His persona Susanoo became Takehaya Susanoo. Takehaya here is a title meaning brave and swift, not just a random label, but a reflection of how Susanoo came to be remembered. He was always fast and fearless, but also reckless and arrogant. Yet by the end of the myth, he's earned that recognition. He became someone others could admire, a better version of who he used to be. But not every evolution is this straightforward. Some ultimate persona don't just gain a new title, they take on an entirely different identity. And unless you know the myth, you would never realize just how much meaning is hiding in the names. One of the best and most misunderstood examples of this is Shie's persona, which evolved from Suzuka Gongen to Haredo-no-Okami. Suzuka Gongen is a somewhat obscure figure, and depending on the version of the story, he was said to be either an Oni, a kind of demon, or a bandit. But then something happens later that changes everything. So what about Haredo-no-Okami? Well, like Suzuka, Haredo is also obscure, but the most important thing you need to know is that she is a goddess of purification. So what connects the two? As the story goes, Suzuka eventually lets go of her past, and in some legend, she doesn't just grow, she transcends from bandits or demons to divine deities. If we follow the theme of transformation, it's easy to interpret Haredo-no-Okami as the purified form of Suzuka Gongen, a being who at the end of her journey emerged into something greater. That's the patterns of Persona 4. This final evolution aren't just about strength or power, they're about becoming your best self, shaped by the trial, and remember for what you have grown into. But then Persona 5 Royal comes along and somehow take it even further. And what it does with its final evolution might be one of the most profound ideas in the entire series. Persona 4 Golden gives us a clear pattern. The second persona evolved into a third. It's gained a new title that reflects the character growth and how others come to see them. A natural evolution, the final step of a well-earned journey. But in Persona 5 Royal, something changes. And if you don't look closely, you might miss the bigger patterns. Because this time, the connection isn't between the second and third form, it's between the first and third. Let's start with Joker. His first persona is Ason, named after Ason Lupin, the famous gentleman's thief. Later, it's evolved into Satanael, a powerful godlike figure who breaks the chain that binds humanities. But then his final persona is called Raoul, and this is where the meaning behind the final awakening in Persona 5 begins. Raoul is said to be Asan Lupin's most commonly used alias, which led some to believe it may even be his original names. And he's not the only one. Morgana persona follow the same path. He started with Sorrow, the masked hero who fight for the oppressed. It then evolved into Mercurius, a major Roman god, and finally become Diego, Sorrow real name. So technically the final persona is just the same as the first, but with its original name, right? Well, you're close, but that's still not the full answer we're looking for today. Because just like Xie in Persona 4, Persona 5 also has an unusual case, and understand that oddity will bring us closer to the meaning we're really chasing. Let's use Anne as our example. Her first persona is Carmen, a fictional character created by Prosper Mérimée. Carmens evolved into Hecate, a Greek goddess associated with the underworld and magic, another legendary figure from the myth. But when it's come to her third awakening, Hecate transforms into someone named Célestine. Unlike the previous example, Célestine isn't the original name of Carmen. Instead, she was a real French mezzo-soprano famous for playing the role of Carmen. Full name Célestine Gali Mali. This breaks the patterns, at least on the surface. So you can't just say that the third form is always the original name of the first, but we can shift our perspective. Instead of looking at the name, we can look at the person. Célestine was the actress before she became known for the role of Carmen. Diego was Diego before he became Sorrow. Raoul was Raoul before he became Azon. In short, the third form isn't just a name, it's the self before the journey begun. It's a return to their original self, their most earliest ego. And this reframing holds true across the board. It's applied to every single party member in Persona 5 Royal. But what does it all really mean? What's the point of going backward? Especially when in Persona 4, characters seem to evolve forward into better version of themselves. Well, there's a reason. And once you understand it, I think you'll appreciate the process of final awakening even more. To explain, let me tell you a story. Imagine there was once an aspiring artist, someone obsessed with capturing every aspect of the world. He's skillful, but to truly capture the world in full detail, skill alone isn't enough. There's something missing. So he set out on a journey. Through triumphs and setbacks, something inside him began to change. He realized that what makes an artist truly exceptional isn't the ability to replicate the world exactly as it is. It's the ability to add to it, to paint not what just exists, but to show others the world as he wants them to see it. A world full of hope. And with that, he returned. He paints what he believes in and gained recognition for it. But as the year passed, and he overcome challenge after challenge, collecting praise and admiration, he began to grow tired. But he decided to push through, because that's what every great artist is supposed to do. He reached for a blank canvas to begin again. And as he pulls one out, something else slips free and falls to the floor. It's a picture. Not a finished painting, but a photo. A photo of a child. And it's in that moment the artist realized somewhere along the way he lost something important. And that what was lost is what the third form of persona represents. It's the man before he became a great artist, admired by the world, before he challenged himself to reach new heights. It's the child before he became a man, a child who simply loved to paint, not to prove anything, not to impress anyone, just a child who created because it brought them joy. That is the purest version of the self. And we see that truth reflected beautifully in the third evolution cutscene. The first persona faced the second, and then the two merged into a third. It's a perfect visual metaphor, a fusion of who they were and who they became. And the result is the truest form of the self. The one who set the journey in motion. The version of you that exists before the world tried to reshape it. So in this video, I use a familiar story structure to help explain what's happening because it's easier for casual audience to follow, but the real inspiration behind this idea actually comes from something deeper. If you're someone who enjoys digging into the meaning behind the meaning, there's a bonus video waiting in the word tier that explore the original concept all of this is based on. It's one of the most powerful narrative ideas I ever come across, and once you see it, it might completely change how you interpret the Persona series. But if you're just here for lore and want to support the channel by watching, I recommended checking out this next video. It's break down the symbolism and deeper connection hidden throughout the Persona 3 Reload opening animation. Thank you for watching.